Tenants, investors, the world, wondering how tenant arrears are going. We're going to give you a tenant update on properties, how tenants are performing in this economic climate. Stay tuned. Cleo Witt here, expert property manager with us today, the lady that manages 4 million properties, 25 million properties. How are you this morning?
It feels like 25 million sometimes. No, I'm good. I'm loving this spring weather. I am so ready for summer. I'm done with winter. So, yeah, I'm good.
I agree with you on that. Look, I do like my winter, but I do like the end of it at the same time. But the doors are opening at home, the windows are opening and staying open for periods now, whereas before it was like, ugh.
Yeah, and the heater is so stuffy. Like, just not having the heater on or the aircon is just, yeah, I'm loving it.
You got gas heater?
Gas heater, it's great. But you can really tell the difference in the air.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a heavier air.
The air quality is completely different, but I do love it. But anyway, over to arrears.
Yes.
Cleo, you went through a period through COVID, a scary period of arrears control with managing tenants. And I thought I'd bring it to the surface this morning because I think as a landlord or as a tenant, you know, if people are out there are feeling the squeeze, you know, with the economics or with rates or whatever they are, they must be thinking, is it like this for everyone, or is it, this is really hard for me, but what's actually happening out there? COVID was an isolated, massive example of where we were very worried about tenancies paying their rent to date, commercial tenants, residential tenants, all tenants. How has it been lately?
I feel tenants are maintaining their commitment with rent, and all the hype of the property shortage and how tough it is out there for tenants to find property has really I wouldn't say scared tenants, but it has made their properties, the most important thing at the moment is having a place to rent, making sure you are paying rent on time so as not to jeopardize needing to be back in that market where you're looking for property where rents are really high. You might be on a reasonable rent or a good wicket, so to speak, with the owner. So I think that property sector has made everybody appreciate that housing is the most important thing besides food.
That's interesting because we didn't really have that big brother hanging over our head of like through COVID. It was like, well, if I do have to leave here, there's always somewhere else I can go. But I better make sure I keep this right. Otherwise, there's a level of difficulty. It's harder to find something else. Never thought of that.
No, and they're gonna need to pay more, and it's just the reality. The rent is going to be probably $50 a week more than where they're at if they're moving, plus removal costs and all those costs associated with moving, and just the annoyance of taking time off work, even because people having a secure job and not having days off and things like that is also really important at the moment. They were saying this morning that people aren't eating out as much and tightening their belts, and I didn't feel that more than I did last Friday night. We went out with the girls and there was no one in the restaurant. There was no one, not one other person than us, for a normally really bustling place. So I think that's what people are doing. Rent's their number one, making sure their rent's on time, and then cutting back on other things is reality at the moment.
Yeah, look, I don't mean to be like making a situation worse or amping it up, but I do genuinely think that sometimes people out there feel like they're alone. if you're a tenant that's, possibly, looking at finding it hard to sort of pay the level of rent that's out there at the moment, you're thinking, oh my God, is this out there with everyone or is it only me? And I think to echo that, we're all in it together, is strong, to help people. But then I also think as a landlord, like I'm thinking, I actually don't even know if I have the gut to weather arrears with tenants not paying rent. But is it actually a real thing where that's happening out there? So you would have percentages across, for instance, 2,000 properties. You would have like a percentage average of arrears control, what the average day is across the portfolio, how many people are actually in arrears. Is that changing? Like the raw data of people in arrears, has it gone up a touch, or what's happening there?
No, I don't feel it's climbing. I think we're quite stable. I do look at my arrears in my portfolio each day, and I look at a key indicator, terminations. I have had no terminations for over 14-day arrears. Most of the tenants that are in arrears are below that 10-day mark, and then they catch up. So they're about a week behind, and then they catch up again. I haven't had to terminate or go to NCAT for a tenant that hasn't paid beyond 2 weeks, which is really, really good. In comparison with COVID, with COVID, we had a lot of tenants that crept up past that time, but you couldn't terminate. They still, topped up that rent account and kept paying. But at the moment, I'm not seeing anyone really fall behind that much. It's it's one of those things. But with landlords, with interest rates the way they're going, they can't also, there's no leniency for arrears for some of our clients because their mortgage has gone up so much over the last year or so, they can't afford to wait, and they don't have that surplus to top up their mortgage. They rely heavily that rent being paid on time, which is what we do. We ensure that we keep that dialogue open with the owners and the tenants. So if there is a instance where they may be short 1 month in their payments, that they are prepared for that. But yeah, I think tenants also know that. They must know that landlords, with the banks and the way that things have gone, that rent is very, heavily needed on time.
What are the telltales with a tenant that's there? Or actually, I have two questions. First question is the average rent for a 2-bedroom unit in DY, where is it at the moment?
2-bedders around $750.
And
maybe
the average
higher.
rent.
Okay.
And the average rent 10 years ago for a 2-bedder?
Oh gosh, it was like $550, $600, something like that. Well, actually, if you've got a 2-bed, 2-bath, 2-car, you can expect to pay $850 now. So the 222. But with a 1-bedder, $750 to $800 for a decent property. We're not talking about the luxury 1-bedroom plus studies that can reach anywhere up to $780. But for an average 2-bedroom, yeah, probably about that $780, $800 mark. I'm going to rephrase.
So in 10 years, property values have doubled, but rents haven't doubled. Rents have probably done about 30% over a 10-year period. They seem to have leveled out. Do you find that tenants are changing the category of property they're enjoying now because of things possibly tightening up? So do you find that where before they went for a house, they go for a unit, or where they were in a premium unit, they're going to more of an average unit? Are you seeing that shift, or is it everyone's just sort of buckling down due to arrears?
Yeah, to be fair, I don't feel like the older rental stock is still attractive. That still sits around on our market. I think tenants, especially on the northern beaches, are still wanting, quality over, cheap. Especially, the things that you're used to, like aircon, dishwashers, things like that. So the housing market for houses are so scarce. Really, they are very, very scarce for houses. You did a segment a little while ago about people sharing property with their families and friends and grandparents. We're finding that that's still a real thing, and the availability to rent a 3-bedroom house, there's just nothing available. I've got 4 families I'm looking to place in a house at the moment, and I don't have anywhere. So There will always be units to rent, I feel, but the commodity of houses, like, I don't know where that's going to go. There's not a lot of houses left for rent on the northern beaches, and the people that rent houses stay for a long time. It's not something you flip in a year or two like a unit. You stay for 5-6 years while your kids are in school. So yeah, they're held tightly within the renting community.
So in summary, tenant arrears update with Cleo here. How are tenants coping with the current economy in August 2024? You're going to go out with these quotes.
I feel like everyone is still coping. Everyone's head still above water. It's not dangerous like it was during COVID.
Boom. See you, everyone.